All right. Have a good evening. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Do you have to do the AI thing or does that
I can. Hold on.
you got to do it?
I love that summary. Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, it's on.
All right. All right, here we go. One, two, three, click. One, two, three, clap.
Clap. One, two, three, clap.
Clap.
Great. You're listening to the Two Gomers podcast, a show about two regular guys in their 40s, embracing midlife, chasing healthy aging, and inviting a nation along for the run. This is episode 402. Have a good evening for March 1st, 2024.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 402 of the Two Gomers podcast. This is Anthony speaking, one of those two aforementioned Gomers, coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, with my friend Steven, all the way out in Flagstaff, Arizona.
First, I tripped up on the word
First,
first.
I know
Did
I
you
was
hear
going to
that?
say, do you want to record that again? But
We don't have time today. We got a tight schedule. No time to re-record first or whatever I said.
March 1st. And then we have March 4th coming up, right? Like,
Oh boy.
that's a
Also,
big one.
all sorts of ways for me to trip up. Um, well, like I said, we're in a rush.
Yep.
Um, I just want to tell you, it snowed 29 inches a couple days ago.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Our first big snow around here.
Yep.
Spring has sprung.
Right. Groundhog Day style.
Well, even though Groundhog said it was going to be an early spring, did you see that?
Yep. That's right. That's right.
I watched it live from Punxsutawney.
Yep. Didn't it do it with a computer or something now?
What do you mean?
Or
Like they strapped one of those like things on Doug from Up where
I
the groundhog can speak?
yeah. I thought there was something technologically advanced about that I heard, but maybe I heard wrong.
Well, not the one I saw. I mean, it was like old fashioned. He took out the mayor of Punxsutawney. It looked like he had some sort of scroll he took
Okay.
out and read
Yep.
a nice poem about how there was going to be a early spring. And I
Right.
honestly don't remember that ever happening before.
An early
Am I
spring, yeah.
wrong?
I don't know. It actually feels like that in Atlanta. Feels nice.
Does it? Oh, that's great. I love it.
Yep.
I hear that in the Midwest also, hardly any snow.
Mm-hmm.
Not out here, folks. We got storms. Alex's church collapsed because of the
Really?
rain. Yeah, you got to watch seriously, boy. He he
Oh
he
no.
reported and showed the video. They had a some sort of tent to fumigate over the church,
Mm-hmm.
and it rained like whatever it was, 10 inches.
Yeah.
And the whole thing collapsed on the church, which made the whole church lobby collapse, and their whole church flooded and is just
Oh.
closed for 9 months.
Oh no, I totally missed that.
They're gonna have to replant. It sucks. So,
Oh,
anyways, happy
jeez.
spring. It's not quite spring yet,
Wow. Well, that's just so crazy because there's droughts in other places,
right?
and like I was reading about the Hoover Dam,
Right?
the dang, because
Right.
our
We're we're
legalist
we're
upbringing,
PG. We're a PG
right? PG.
podcast.
We don't want to get
Hoover dang.
Hoover, darn it. Um, uh, said that it's down to a record low.
Oh wow, interesting.
Right, where the water behind it is actually lower than pre-dam status, something
So
like
I
that.
mean, oh no, now I'm forgetting the villain's name. Mr. Luthor.
Oh yeah,
Lex Luthor could blow up California and they'd be fine, Hoover Dam
I
wise.
I think so,
Okay. Well, that's
and
good
I don't,
news.
I cannot confirm or deny that I may or may not be seeing that in days.
We are not ready to confirm or deny anything right now because this
Yeah,
is coming out after what we may be confirming or denying. So we're going to do
right,
neither.
right. I can confirm, Lord willing, Aaron and I are
Mm,
coming out to the west, out west, not to the west
yes.
coast, but out to the desert. We're coming
Yes.
out to the Dune Sea.
What else? I mean, you guys are coming out. What else can we confirm that we have hotel rooms that we've
Yep,
paid for?
yep. we can confirm that we're going to see the Red Rocks, not Red Rock Amphitheater.
No, some red rocks in the Southwest. That's good.
Yeah, and I heard about this art exhibit called like the Seven Mountains,
Oh,
like
interesting.
these painted rocks. Like
Okay.
this supposedly is still a thing.
Yeah.
And because Aaron and I were looking up things to do that are free
Yeah.
and beautiful
Yep.
when you're not really into the gambling and all
Right.
the all the all
I
the
mean,
stuff.
people have probably heard or not about this thing that we can confirm or deny, but I think we're getting closer probably to having them guess what we are going to try to do. But at this
Right.
point, days
We
before it, we
we
can
don't
neither
know.
confirm or deny it because we don't have anything in hand.
Exactly. But it's a
Yeesh.
gamble, right? Life is
It's a
life
gamble.
is but a
Life's a
mist.
gamble. That's
It's a
true.
mist. It's a vapor.
And we are going to be talking about that even more, honestly, in this app.
Yeah.
Lots of what we're talking about right here is going to come back in this app. Have a good evening.
Mhm.
This is the second in our Truman series.
Yep.
Good morning. And if I don't see you later, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. So we did have a good
Yep.
morning.
Yep.
We're doing have a good evening, and we still have good afternoon and good night in the hoppa.
But this is part of a collection.
Yes. Yep. And
I
I
love
think
our
we're going to see
collections.
more of that as we kind of continue on in the new iteration of the podcast, even though the new iteration is about a year old now.
Yeah. Well, it still feels new though.
It does. You're right.
It feels fresh.
Now that we're
Wesh.
about a year in, I think we're going to start seeing some series emerge, and this is one of them. And so once we get to the core, that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to end with what's giving us life this week. And of course, a ton of fun stuff along the way. But here on the Two Gomers podcast, we want to take big strides toward health. But we know that most of the time it starts and continues simple and small. So now it's time for Gomer's Tips of the Week.
Wait, weren't we gonna do baby step?
Wait a minute, we never confirmed what we were gonna do.
I can do a baby step. Okay. We can edit. I can edit
Here,
that.
I'll start that again. Okay.
Okay.
But here on the Two Gomers podcast, sorry. But first, here on the Two Gomers podcast, we want to take big strides towards health, but we know that sometimes it starts simple and small. So this is baby step of the week.
Awesome. All right, let's clap.
Do we clap?
Yep. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap. All right, dude. Here we are in the baby step. I'm super pumped about this baby step, dude.
Cannot wait. We're back to baby steps, like we said. We're gonna start doing a segment.
Yep.
But people are not gonna know which segment it is. But
Yep.
I'm thinking we've got baby steps, Gomer's tips, songs to run to that we're gonna alternate between. Maybe a runner's corner once in a while.
Yep. Oh yeah, I think so.
Give me that jingle real quick. Runner's corner jingle. You got that in your tool belt?
Hey, what you doing over there running in the corner, mate?
Oh my gosh. Like 2010 again.
Dude, I'm just so stoked. I mean, we haven't recorded in a couple of weeks. We've got some amazing stuff in the hoppa.
Yep.
And just life, I don't know. It's like we just talked about the weather. We talked about spring is coming.
Right.
Even though you're in snow.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel, I've declared this year free.
Yep.
That's my word of the year.
Uh-huh.
And it's happening. Like I'm feeling free.
Amazing.
And another thing is that Lent. So as people are listening into this, they're fully into Lent, right? Into the Lent.
Oh man, they are so deep into Lent right now.
Yep. Journeying towards Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and Easter.
Now, Lent was also Valentine's.
Right. I know. And Fat Tuesday.
It was the day before Fat
was
Tuesday.
I know. Like, what do you do on Fat Tuesday if it's the day before Valentine's and it's the day after your wife's birthday, which is probably only me.
Well, I have some ideas, but
Right.
this is a PG podcast.
Right. Well, and I also have a friend, Mike. His wife's birthday is also on February 12th. Shout out to Mike and Liz. What's up?
Hey.
But yeah, so we're full on into the Lenten season.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Did you? So my baby step is going to be about that. Did you
Great.
do any Lent stuff? Did you do Ash Wednesday service? Did you?
We didn't get to Ash Wednesday service yesterday, but I do like to do an Ash Wednesday service. I do like to have that on the forehead.
Yeah, yeah. I saw some people at rehearsal
Mm-hmm.
last night in the orchestra with
Yep, I was
ashes.
at the dentist all day yesterday, so don't get me
Oh.
started. I couldn't get to the noon Ash Wednesday service, which I usually go to. But yeah, but that so I guess I don't have to do Lent, right? I didn't go to the service.
You're out.
Yep. Yeah.
What is it? It's the prayer, fasting, and almsgiving.
Yep.
So I want to talk a little bit about a baby step, which is towards fasting.
Okay.
Also centered around the word free.
Okay.
Okay. And okay, just to clarify, we talked about this last year. Fasting biblically is only food. Everything else is abstaining.
Yes. Got it.
And we're trying to take it literally and seriously. So fasting is about food. So if you're like, I'm going to do a social media fast, not to be, I'm like, well, actually, but that's really abstaining from something.
Got it.
And
Understood.
I actually think that's super important. I thought it was, just like, didn't really matter. It's like, whatever, it's just semantics or whatever. I actually think it is important.
Okay.
Because there are things you should lean into and there are things that you should abstain from. Okay. And so we're trying to lean more into generosity. And as far as abstination, abstaining, abstinence is best. What is that? Modest is hottest.
Modest is hottest. Okay. Here's some purity culture stuff going on.
Here we go. Oh boy. Sorry if that triggered anybody. But I listened to this. I'm going to drop a sermon, and it's not Tim Keller.
Okay, shoot. I was hoping to take a shot, but I guess I can't.
Yeah, sorry.
That's right.
It's a Church of the City in Franklin, Tennessee. Darren Whitehead, I think, is the pastor.
Okay.
And they did this social media detox, or this digital detox back in May, and it was really cool. And he made his best case for kind of like digital detoxing for Lent.
Okay.
That I've ever heard this past Sunday. If anybody wants to listen to it, it's a sermon that honestly you don't even have to be a Christian to listen to it, because it was basically a self-help talk.
Okay. Yep.
I think it was called Digital Detox. And so that's one of the things we're doing for Lent is total social media free, going back to the free. And so to the baby step, I'm curious to see what you think of this. And you might have told me about this years ago. But one of his kind of like little tips was put your phone into grayscale mode.
Okay. Nope. This is not a tip of mine. That's for sure.
Okay. I could picture you like hearing this on a podcast and telling me about it. So that's why I was like, I feel like I've heard it before. And I was like, maybe
do you
it was
mean
stupid.
that it's not in color anymore?
Right.
Okay.
So I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Like here's what it looks like.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. It looks like a newspaper.
Yeah. I didn't know how to do it. So I just asked Siri.
Okay.
I just said,
what did she tell you?
You know who? Put my iPhone into grayscale mode. And she goes, okay.
Oh, she just did it.
She just did it.
Hey, Siri, put my phone into grayscale mode. It happened. So this is to prevent you from spending time on your phone?
Yes. Okay, so I've been doing this now for a couple days.
Okay.
The idea is your phone, it's just glittery, glossy, beautiful thing to stare at. I mean, what the average user is on it at least 5 to 6 hours a day.
Yep.
I think the
average American 5 hours and 25.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
7 to 9 hours for younger people.
Wowzers.
Uh, and so the idea is, like we talk about all the time, like more paper, less screens,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. But he was like, by doing that, it makes it so much less interesting to look at.
Huh.
And I've been doing it, and it's so true.
Wow.
So he's like, you know what's weird? The whole world is in like 4K plus,
Yep.
3D, real D, smells good, tastes
Mm-hmm.
good, feels
Yeah.
good. And turn your phone into kind of just this like gray utilitarian device
Yep.
that that works for you. You don't work for it.
Got it.
I mean, it's a
Yep.
40-minute talk that was really, really good.
Cool.
And that was kind of one of his practical tips. And so I did it.
Nice.
And I don't know. I'm curious if you want to try it. It's a baby step.
I'm
See if
looking
it
at it right now.
makes,
Yep.
makes
I
it.
think the other benefit to this is that if you're doing this during Lent, it like it shifts the way you look. I guess you already said this.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about glittery though, but like your phone is different during Lent.
Ooh,
And
I
so
like
that
that.
may be doing something in my mind right now. I think the problem with this baby step for me is I actually really dig how this looks.
I know. Well,
And I
dude.
might keep it like this forever. This is like when Godzilla Minus One
Uh-huh.
came back into theaters, Godzilla Minus Color, and it was black and white.
Oh
And I
man.
went to see it again because I was like, I gotta see that. Or when Partner to Fury Road, they put that out in black
Uh,
and white.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like this whole new amazing experience. This is what
Oh,
it's reminding me of. So I don't know if the
yes.
baby step would work for me visually, but I think it does work for me. Like the way I am looking at my phone differently now
Mm.
than I
Yeah,
was
so
5 minutes ago.
I totally misunderstood. So you're saying you like the way this looks.
I like the way this looks.
Okay, cool. So that's I thought you were saying you like the way the colors looks. Yeah, so it's interesting because like for example, I've been using Waze.
Right.
I
Yep.
use just because I live in a big city,
Mm-hmm.
we basically always have Waze running. I've said that a million times.
Yep.
But there can be random traffic things any time of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And which totally messes with my screen time because I think I have Waze open at least an hour and a half a day.
Wow.
Uh,
Because you're driving around a lot and you got to find that traffic the best way to go, right?
yep. I mean, how do you
Yep.
think I listen to so many sermons? Um,
And how do you think you edit the podcast?
yeah,
Just
and how
kidding.
do I listen through editing the podcast? um, but like it's weird in grayscale because your line is normally purple
Uh-huh.
and now it's just kind of dark. So you're like, where am I? A little bit. But the baby step is towards, like you said, like making it look different, and it might backfire for you, but making it less enticing than the real world.
Gotcha. I get it. Yep.
Uh,
I am taking this baby step and I'm going to do it for the next 40 days. I'm not going to take this grayscale off. This is my phone for the next 40 days.
awesome. Okay, me too. Other
Okay.
tips would be, take social media off your phone entirely, which you've done.
That's done.
And
And
there's plenty of other
except for
tips.
you caught me the other day on
Right.
Insta. But I was doing
Like
work.
because we yeah, well, we log in together, and like he talks about that too. Like some people work on their phone. Some people
Yep.
are influencers, or Instagram or YouTube is part of your business. That's it's just it is a time suck. We all know it. We talk about it a million times, and just
Mm-hmm.
take 40 days.
Yep.
Get it off there.
You know what? This actually looks more utilitarian to me. It looks more like work
Yes,
right now.
that's
And so maybe I would use it for work more than entertainment because it looks like this. Man, I'm
well. I
very
mean, what?
curious on how this is going to affect me the next 40 days.
Okay. I mean, one of the other tips he said is check your email only 3 times a day.
Okay.
And I am super into that idea because I check my email, which is dumb because I have so many random emails and I
Uh-huh.
don't respond to them all. We've talked
Yeah.
about that on the zero inbox. But do you think like he's like take 10 minutes 3 times a day and just knock them out?
Yeah, that wouldn't work for me because
Yeah.
almost my whole job is email. That's not
Yes.
true, but it is significantly email.
Right.
I wonder what grayscale on my computer would do. Like, I'd love to see you in a grayscale right now, dude. That would be
Oh, then I
amazing.
wouldn't have my colorful Blue Ridge shirt.
That's true. I'd be missing out on your colorful Blue Ridge shirt.
Oh
We got to get to the core, but can I just give a
gosh.
quick baby step?
Yep.
As a completionist, my motto is finish what you start. One thing that I have trouble with is when I'm reading a book and I feel like I have to finish it.
Mm.
And I feel like I waste a ton of time doing that. And so my
Yep.
baby step last week was I was 20% through a book, which I don't know where I heard that tip. Give it 20%. And I was like, not feeling it. And I just stopped.
Wow.
Put it away. I'm never going to finish this book. So readers out there who are completionists know what I'm talking about and how hard that is.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, you feel almost like you're offending the author and literature in general if you don't finish a book that you started.
Sure.
But this one I was just like, I know it's good. I know it was on all the best ofs, but it's just not connecting with me. I'm going to move on. So that was my baby step of the week.
Wow. Well done, dude. As a completionist, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I have read 20% of so many books. I can't even. I've read the introduction of so many books. I've read like the recommendations, like endorsements of so many books.
That's this. I forgot what I'm talking to. This is your modus operandi or whatever.
I know, it's like.
All right, dude. Let's head into the core.
All right, let's do it.
Sweet.
All right, let's clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap.
Just let me text Chad real quick and tell him to just meet us right on the hour.
Okay, perfect.
Where is he? Where is he?
I hope
It's
you
some
like this
weird name.
grayscale
Oh,
thing.
the Chad. I got it.
Oh yeah. The Chad.
Okay, great. I'm ready.
Great. Let me make sure that that was Darren Whitehead. Yep, Darren Whitehead. Okay, I was like, is that right? Okay.
Okay, great.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
Let's clap again. Sorry. So I can find it.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap. Hey, how's it going over there? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Two Gomers podcast, where they talk about practical ways of making your life better. Oh man, I love listening to these guys because I don't rest very well, so hopefully they'll have some tips for me.
Sometimes I wonder how long he's going to keep going. Like, maybe he's just going to go all the way until what's giving us life this week.
Do the whole core in that voice.
That's good. Here we are in the core, where we dig deeper into a core habit, discuss a core practice, or answer a core question around healthy aging. This is a core routine episode.
Absolutely.
So
yep.
If people remember the Have a Good Morning, that was all about healthy morning routines. I guess that's a collection of core practices, a routine.
Yeah, well, so right, you're made up of the habits that you do, right? The things that you do most consistently and most regularly make you who you are.
Yep.
For better and for worse, right? Morning
right.
guy, night guy, the whole Seinfeld thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And we talked about that last time. You tend to lean night. I tend to lean morning.
Yep. Aaron tends 1,000% morning, 0% night.
Yeah. Maybe Jessica's more an after. Can you be an afternoon person?
Sure. I mean, why
so.
not?
I don't know. Sure, go ahead.
I will say, now that I've laid off alcohol again,
yeah,
almost, well, I mean, completely, and then we're going to talk about coffee on this one too.
Definitely.
I am way more even and a lot less sugar.
Wow, great.
Like, so I think, I wonder if the morning person, afternoon person, evening person is when your equilibrium of like when you feel most alert or awake or something. I don't know. So you're saying because she's not like a so Erin's a ball of sunshine in the morning,
Right.
um,
I guess
and then
it's
at
interesting.
night
What I
just
was
falls
thinking.
asleep immediately.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
she's out, right? I mean, she's a deep sleeper and falls asleep quickly.
Oh, yeah, she would if she could be asleep by 8,
Uh huh.
she would be so happy.
Okay. Um, Jessica is a light sleeper. Now, this is not have a good night, this episode, because
Right.
I want to talk way more about sleep, and that's not what we're
Mm,
talking about this time. Um,
yes.
I guess it's hard to figure out really what defines a morning person or an evening person. And then I re-listened to our morning episode, and we do talk a lot about how that changes in college. It changes when you have kids, um,
Sure.
and you're forced into different stages of life and different times of day.
Right. Well, I mean, so yeah, we talked about that. I mean, having kids just turns you into a morning person.
Yeah, you have it.
Or
It just comes. The morning is there, and you have to be there with it.
yeah, they don't care.
Yep.
A baby doesn't care, right?
No. Um. So I talked about this in the morning episode too, that I've really focused on making my mornings good because I've noticed that that has had a huge impact on my life. But there was a point where I was hitting a wall in that, and I realized that I needed to reverse engineer that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that by coming up with and doing a lot of study and research and blogs and podcasts about setting up a good morning, well, setting up good sleep so that you can set up a good morning by setting up a good evening. I don't know if that sentence made any sense.
Oh, I wrote this down. Okay, let me see if I can find it in my 2 pages of notes. Right beneath my what's giving me life, which I'm super excited to talk about.
Sweet.
Um, oh, I said everything good takes time, and everything good is prepared for ahead of time.
There we go.
And so, basically, like a good morning starts at night,
Yep.
and a good evening starts in the morning. I feel like,
Yeah. So it's
they work in tandem or something,
yeah, and it's a chicken or the egg thing, but I think
right?
tandem is a better way to put it, right? Where because there's always going to be another night, morning, afternoon, evening, night, morning. Like you
Uh
have
huh.
to think about if there's unhealthy routines or rhythms, I've got to start somewhere. So I started in the morning. That's where I
Yeah. See,
started doing the work.
I think
Was
that's
how can I make a
yeah.
healthy routine in the morning?
Yeah. See, I think that's better because you you're gonna. It's the Seinfeld thing where you're gonna kick the night guy's butt in the
Right.
morning. You can't like night guy screws morning guy way more.
Yep.
So like, but then he says,
That's
right,
true.
morning guy, if morning guy loses his job, then night guy doesn't have money to spend anymore and go out.
Right. Yep.
So I think morning guy supersedes night guy in the end. And so I think you're right.
Right. But at the same time, what I was finding was I could never have a good morning if my sleep wasn't good. And my
Mm,
sleep could never be good unless I had formed some sort of evening routine. So I don't actually know the
okay.
answer here. All
All
I
right.
know is that after I had developed all the morning routines that I talked about in the last time, the next thing I started working on was my evening routine.
Okay.
And that seemed to be the 1-2 punch that has helped me. Uh, that has really helped me, I think, have a better day. So this is going to be really tip heavy. I hope that's okay.
Oh, I mean, I love Gomer's tips, dude. I mean,
Okay.
I read 10 tips for this, 20 tips for
Uh-huh.
that. Like
Yep.
right now on my phone, I have like, are you a morning person quiz from New York
Mm-hmm.
Times.
Right.
I've got a BuzzFeed article. You're either a morning bird or a night owl. You can't be both. Like, it's like every single one I mean, I'm all for it. So just tell me everything you know, dude. And
So
I'll pepper in a few.
I just wanted to make sure we knew the big why, which was that
Okay.
the goal is to have a good day, right?
Mm,
Um,
that's
I want to
pretty
live
amazing, dude.
well. I want to live well during my day when I'm interacting with people. And when I want to be on, I want to be
Yep.
gentle. I want to be generous. I want to be loving,
Yeah.
all the things that we've talked about. And so the routines aren't for routine's sake and the tips aren't for tips' sake.
Yep.
The why is so that I can be healthy and age healthy
Yep.
during the
And you
day.
can serve love.
Exactly.
know,
Right. Yes. And so
that's super
the
good.
danger of a
Yep.
tip heavy episode is it's like, here's a bunch of things to do without remembering the why.
Right. Well, we're in a life hack culture.
Mm.
If we could just somehow hack hack our routines, then we're going to live the good life. Right?
We've talked
So,
about that before. Like, if we can just change our routines enough
yep.
and
But that
find that new practice.
the thing is that negates the why that you just talked about. And I think that is
Mm.
so stinking crucial, that
Mm-hmm.
the free to love thing that the Gomers have become about, which is like, all of this is not so that you can be like, I have an amazing routine
Yep.
and now I've hacked it and now I'm living my best life. It's like, but then why? So
Yeah.
that you can keep doing that.
Yeah.
But so I love this, so that so I can be present for my family, so you can be present for your family,
Yes.
for your the people that work with you, and for your students.
Yep. Yep. And so a lot of this evening stuff is going to, when I listened to the Good Morning episode, I was quite proud of myself, if I do say so myself,
Okay.
that I organized in a nice 3-point presentation,
Love it. Yep.
and it was all about get on track blank. So my 3 points were: get on track physically, get on track mentally and spiritually, and get on track productively in the morning. So
Love
what
it.
I've done in this episode, I've just changed that verb to settle. So my evening routines revolve around settling down physically, settling mentally and spiritually, and settling productively, so that I can
Great.
get to a point where I can have a good night and sleep, so that I can
That's
have a good
so
morning
good.
and a good day and a night. So
Wait, what
the
were those again? So settle your
settle
spirit,
physically,
the settle physically. Yep.
settle mentally and or spiritually. I know
Yep.
people define this differently, listeners do.
Yep. Yep.
And then settle productively.
Great.
That's basically about work.
Sure.
Um,
That's huge.
okay. And then the top tip, the overarching tip, if you only hear one tip, and this is according to the CDC website,
Ooh,
the
baby.
best thing to do is be consistent in your routine.
Okay. Consistency is key.
And they say even on the weekends. So
Okay, now you lost me there.
I knew it. I knew
You
I
freaking
would.
lost me there, dude. And like, this is like, it is one of those bumps in the road that happens every freaking week.
Yep.
Okay, but I want to, and I know where you're going, but you know what?
Well, yeah,
Everybody
it's not
feels that somewhat.
only sleep and morning routines that you let go on the weekends, right? It's
Oh yeah.
like weekends don't count for some reason. That's what we think. Weekends, holidays, when you're traveling, if you're
Yep.
happy, if you're sad, it doesn't count. Like oh, it doesn't count today.
Right. Right. Exactly. Okay. So
So,
interesting.
anyways, if that's the one thing. So I'm going to share my routine. You can have whatever routine you want, but I would urge you, listener, to make whatever you do as consistent as possible in the evening.
Okay. Can I interject here?
Yeah.
Everybody has a routine. This is something when I went through my anxiety, like thing.
Mm-hmm.
My doctor asked me, "What's your nighttime routine?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
Okay. So,
And then I told Erin, she's like, "Yes, you do. You do the exact same things every night.
okay. So maybe my
1000%."
tip is find some healthy way to be
No,
consistent. If your consistency is, then maybe
no,
that's
but
not right.
this is what I'm saying. Everybody
Yeah.
we are creatures of habit as
You're so
humans.
right. Yep.
And so, like, I think the is like, actually, maybe people should take a little habit audit
That's great advice.
and like
Yes.
look at, because you have a liturgy, and Steven's about to give us a better one, is my guess.
Well,
Practical Stevie.
I will say, and I probably wouldn't have been able to put it to words unless you had just said that I did do a habit and practice audit. And I
That
am
sounds fun.
choosing, of course, to share the good ones
Yeah. Okay, that's
because I'm
amazing.
trying to
That
give tips on how to do it well. So maybe
yeah.
that's actually another good kind of precursor to all this. I'm not perfect at this. There are plenty of habits that I need to work on still in the
Hmm.
evening. But these are some, how about this? These are some of the best practices that I found. That when
Love it.
I do them, I sleep better and have a better morning and a better day, afternoon, evening. It sets me up well.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Yep.
great. So let's start with physically. Settle physically. Um, so, and this is also from the CDC website and other things I looked up. I even have a quote.
Oh, baby.
So basically, it has to do with what I'm eating. It has to do with my circadian rhythms, and it has to do
Hmm.
with what my final caffeine time is physically.
Food, circadian rhythm, caffeine.
Caffeine or no caffeine, yeah. There's
Yep.
also this like maybe a slow exercise piece to this that often I will take an evening walk with the dog or with Jessica.
Oh yeah.
And so I, I hesitate to say exercise because actually really hard exercise wakes me up.
Right. Yep.
And so I'm
That
not saying
yeah.
like I go for a run at night, but if I can go for a nice, relaxing walk, just chatting or listening to a podcast or petting the dog or just being
Sure.
quiet, that sets my evening up
Mm.
so well.
So that's the passeggiata, right?
It's like the passeggiata, but it's oh yeah, I'm thinking of the different word, passeggiata, which what does that mean literally? Do you remember?
It's like a stroll after
Yeah,
dinner
that
that the
Italian
Italians do. You might
stroll.
even change your clothes,
Mm-hmm.
go on a walk with your dog or with your family, do a pajama walk with your kids around the neighborhood.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
If it's if I mean there I can remember some of my greatest savor memories with the boys was when it would start to snow and we would put our PJs on and go for a walk and watch the snow through the street lamps.
That's goosebumps, bro.
There's like halos around the street lamps of snow. I mean,
Mm,
I'm gonna sleep good that night if I take a
yep.
walk like that. Um, So I watch what I eat or drink. I don't know what works or doesn't work for people specifically around this. I know what works or doesn't work for me, which is if I'm eating a lot of sugar right up till I hit the pillow,
Mm-hmm.
that's no good for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I get like
Right.
bloated, I get farty, I have weird
Mm-hmm.
dreams.
Mm-hmm.
If my stomach feels full, I don't maybe you know what I'm talking about, but if you go to bed and you have a full stomach,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very uncomfortable. So I
Oh,
I
yeah.
really watch what I'm eating and what I'm drinking throughout the evening, and I've tried to move that up in the evening because if I keep pushing till right before I go to bed, it's not a good evening.
Right. No, 1,000%. I mean, you know, you do the Taco Bell thing where you
Yep.
ingest 12 to 1,400 calories, or the double Big Mac and you know, a couple beers or something, and
Yeah.
then like a
I mean, it sounds good, but
hot
probably not at
toddy.
11 p.m.
Yeah, like a milkshake. I mean, that's it sounds the thing is all those things taste better after 10 p.m.
A-
Everything.
And your defenses go down at night.
Right.
And so
Absolutely.
whatever you know is healthy for you and makes you feel good or bad, it's a lot easier to make those decisions at 9 a.m. than it is at 9 p.m. There must be some science around that, but it's just a truism for me, for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, most people don't have a six pack and go to Taco Bell at 9 a.m.
Most
You
people.
know, I'm not judging you if you
Right.
do.
I mean, if that's your morning routine, just be consistent.
Right. But like, I mean that I think people would know that doesn't set you up for success for a
Yes.
great
Yes,
day.
definitely.
Um, but I think after 10 p.m. you don't care.
Or you
Or
think I deserve this or I'm letting down for the
right,
day or something like that,
sure,
right?
sure,
Like
sure,
so
yeah,
for
yeah,
me, I really need to watch that or else again, it really affects my sleep, which affects my morning.
yep,
Um, so the second thing is about my circadian rhythms that mostly has to do with light and dark.
mm-hmm.
So I have been working hard, and we've talked about this a little bit before, to transition to dark at night.
Yep.
And I listened to this amazing podcast about the one of the huge shifts in human history was the electric light, because all of a
Mm,
sudden then we weren't going to sleep at night.
right.
It used to be that if you had a candle or whatever, you're like, this sucks. I'm going to bed.
I know.
So like
What are
it's
we gonna
dark
do?
out. Right.
Yep.
And now because we can it can be light as long as we want it to be light. It's really messed with our sleep and our evenings. Um, so I have gone so far as to wear sunglasses
Mm-hmm.
before before bed in my
I know
house because
you've told us about this.
because I don't want to walk around and be like, shut the lights off. When you
Right.
when you
Yeah.
live with other people, you can't necessarily control that. And so my doctor told me, wear some sunglasses an hour before you go to bed. I'm telling you, it might just be like all in my head, but it has worked pretty well for me.
Man, and you look cool too.
Well,
Yeah.
that is not true. I look so dumb.
What do like Jack and Noah think about this?
They, they, they're just used to me, I think, after 20 years. When other
So
people, when
weird.
I've done it with other people, like one time I was like with a friend at a hotel and I'm wearing
Yeah.
sunglasses and he thought it was a bit. Like he thought I was just
Yeah.
goofing around.
Totally. Here he comes. Like, this is hilarious.
Like, okay, I get it. You're cool.
So
Um,
are you gonna wear these after the we're not sure if it's gonna happen
no, I think I'll
event?
be tired enough, or maybe not. Maybe I'll be wired if
Oh, I
we're
think
able to confirm it.
yeah, I think we're gonna be wired and we're gonna be high-fiving afterwards. Although we'll also be extremely exhausted.
I may be high fiving you with sunglasses on.
That is so funny, dude. Okay, so I heard about this. We talked about this on the Good Morning podcast,
Yep.
where light above your head,
Mm-hmm.
your eyes don't don't like they register that as sunlight,
Right.
because our eyes are they serve us, right?
Yep.
They're a
Yep.
window into our body, and so
Yeah.
when they see light above it, they're not like, oh yeah, that's a lamp. They're
Right.
just telling your brain the sun's out.
Now that's good for us who don't like overhead lighting.
I know we don't like the big light. So
No.
that was in that healthline dot org or dot
Okay.
com
Yeah.
article that I absolutely loved. Actually, this I would send people to that article. It was called 23 Tips for Your Ideal Nighttime Routine from
Mm.
healthline.com. It was really excellent, and it confirmed what we talked about with light, which is after a certain time, you should only have light that's beneath your head.
Okay. Yeah.
So table lamps, if you can get away from any light that has blue, so
Mm-hmm.
you can
The
get
blue
amber
is an
light
issue.
bulbs.
Yep.
And then what did we talk about in the baby step? Your phone. That's a light bulb that's shining straight into your eyes, and not only
Mm.
that, it's telling you all the cool things your friends did that you didn't do, how cool your friends are, and how dumb you are.
So that will
How
we'll
lame
get
your
to
day
we'll get
was.
back to that and settle down
Okay.
mentally and spiritually.
Okay,
But
got it. Yeah,
you
yeah.
are so right that it is also physical. And so
Yeah.
here's Dr. Joyce Wazelbean from the
Ooh.
NYU School of Medicine says this: melatonin is your hormone of darkness. It
Hmm.
won't flow with the lights on.
Wow.
You want to transition to dark as early as 9 or 10 o'clock. Sitting in dimly lit room before getting ready for bed can put you in the right mindset for sleep. No mention of sunglasses.
Ah, come on. That's you should write her.
And then she says, just remember to make sure the room is as dark as you can make it when you're finally ready to go to sleep. So that's the circadian rhythms thing. I think that people get it. There's also this last thing about caffeine. I think we've talked about this before, where um I have to really watch what time I'm drinking caffeine. The
Okay.
hardest thing for me around that is soda pop.
Right.
You're reaching for a pop at the end of the night. You don't want to eat that pop.
Pop.
You
What's
don't want to drink that pop.
what's a pop, dude? A soda.
A Coke.
Coke.
I was listening to a podcast the other day and they said pop, and I just something like came alive within me when they said pop.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Um, I'm only doing caffeine in coffee in the morning, and so that's not a big deal for me unless I'm like at some place and they're like, let's go to Starbucks or something like that. Let's get some fruity, not fruity,
Sure.
chocolatey thing. And I'm
Yep.
like, okay. And it's 4 p.m. And then I'm like, oh no, what
Yeah.
have
See,
I done? Do you have a cutoff time?
you just screwed yourself. And
Yeah.
sometimes you do the cost benefit
Yep.
analysis and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, I'm teaching some lessons at 6 o'clock today.
Yes, you're right.
And if you look at your why, which is to have a
Mm-hmm.
great day, to give, serve, and love
Yep.
others,
Mm-hmm.
then you're like, well, you know what? I'm going to have to pay for it tonight and I'll be a little tired in the morning or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but you have some caffeine. So, yeah, I have a cutoff. I have a caffeine cutoff, even though, check this out. If you're watching us on video, I'm having an
Mm.
afternoon Coke because I love Steven and the two Gomers. And we
Well,
have,
you're really serving me by drinking that Coke.
yeah, I guess that's somewhat self serving as well. Because it's delicious and it's
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Coke.
I saw. Yep.
Well, and we're mid Feb and I'm drinking Christmas Coke. That's a good sign that I
You're
haven't
right.
drank
That's very
very,
true. Yeah.
because
So
I
what
got
would your
one
normal cutoff time
12
be?
pack. Uh, I cut off caffeine probably at like 10 a.m., dude.
Okay. Wow. I was gonna guess noon, but
Yeah.
even that is pushing it for me. I feel
Yep.
like anything after noon. So I'm talking 12:01 probably. I feel like I can still kind of feel it
Yep.
into the evening.
Yeah, I can too. It really affects me. And so if you cut it out though,
Mm-hmm.
then you can use it sparingly
Mm-hmm.
really well. And that was in that Healthline article as well, was cut the second cup of coffee, you'll have a way better night's sleep. And Erin, if she were here right now, I can speak for her because she would say this.
Uh-huh.
She would laugh. She'd be like, yeah, right. Because I mean, the afternoon cup for her is like life. She loves it, and I would
Yep.
not deprive her of that. And she can still fall asleep at 8.
So I think it probably is you have to know thyself around this, but
Yes.
it probably is worth thinking about it. Okay.
Yep.
We've got to get going here. Dang it, we've got to
Yep.
hard out. Shoot. But I want
No
to
worries.
a lot of these things in the settle mentally and spiritually, I would say, are things that we have talked about ad nauseum. Less screens, more paper for me.
Mhm.
So basically it's the screen thing you were just talking about. No social media. The less screens part is no social media, no news,
Mm,
no
that is a really,
stimulating TV
yeah,
past, I would say, 9 p.m.
I know. So we talk with our girls all the time. When we cut out screens for the girls starting at
Yeah.
7:30,
Uh-huh.
sometimes 8, and then of course when you're having a family movie night or
Sure.
Sabbath or
Yep.
weekend, that's a whole nother thing.
Mhm.
But in general, that the stimulation of that light, when
Yeah.
we just almost always have cut that off, and that helps them sleep better. But we're like, oh, but we do it,
Yeah.
and I so part of my nighttime routine is I watch a Seinfeld every single night.
Really? I don't think I knew this. Every
Yeah.
night.
I've probably watched a Seinfeld episode every night for 7 years.
Well, this is why you're constantly quoting it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that. And I actually don't. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I've said this before on the podcast. I'd say 20% of the time and I'm like, yeah, I have no idea what you're
Right, yeah,
talking
totally.
about.
I mean that it's Seinfeld. I know
Yeah.
for others it would be like The Office. This
Sure.
totally dates me as a Gen X.
Yeah. Yep.
But
But that's fine. Everybody's got it, right? I mean,
Yep.
so I don't know. Does that apply to this tip? I guess what I'm saying is that you're trying to take away screens that stimulate.
Yep.
And so maybe a Seinfeld for you is a way for you to mentally and spiritually settle.
See, it actually is. It's always something you've seen before.
And it is a rhythm. I mean, it's a consistent rhythm. I got to give you that.
Yeah, it's like it makes you laugh.
Uh-huh.
It makes you relax.
Yeah.
It's funny. And I mean, I read that about that with anxiety stuff. Is like a lot of people like to watch the same things because it's comforting.
Yes.
You know what's coming.
No surprises.
Yep.
Yep.
And there is nothing surprising about Seinfeld. It's just funny. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes it's past the PG rating. Well,
Yeah,
it's
but I would say the
network,
first time you
but
watch it, but not the 20th time, right?
yep,
That then it becomes comfort. And so again, I just want to remind people this is stuff that I have written down, but it may not work or be the same for everybody. So if you have a routine that involves watching something that settles you, then I would say grace and peace to you, brother and sister. Like, do
sure,
that, right?
yeah,
For me, I need to not have it's connected to the circadian rhythm thing, probably. Um, of course, I will watch a movie sometimes later tonight. If I'm watching Moonstruck and it's 9 p.m. and it's in the
mm.
middle, right when he's saying, Johnny has his hand, Johnny has his bride, I'm not shutting that off.
You're not a monster.
No, I mean, I have to have my priorities. But I would say the more paper part of this for me is that I do have this routine of getting into bed half an hour before I want to fall asleep and reading.
I love that. And I have to say, I'm jealous of that. And I have not had the wherewithal or the horse sense to try it,
Well,
like to truly
again,
try it.
maybe it's just not you. And so that's fine. I think it was also connected to I wanted to read more.
Yeah, I do
Um,
too.
and I found after a year of doing that that I was like, I read 25 books this year.
Yeah,
And I'm not reading all day. It's just I'm reading consistently.
I love
Um,
it.
so for me, it's always fiction. It's never like some nonfiction book that has to do with my job, God forbid, because
Sure.
then my mind starts racing again. So I have to choose wisely about what I'm reading. It has to be completely separated from my life, and
It's
it
great.
has to be. It's almost like I can't remember the last time I read a nonfiction book in bed.
Okay.
That's not happening for me. That is
So
not settling for me.
so you're not reading Every Good Endeavor by Tim Keller or
No,
Practicing the Way by John Mark Comer right before bed.
those are fine, but I'm not reading those in bed.
Right. You're reading like Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, I'm reading Stephen King's new one, which is a friggin' corker, bro. I mean,
Ooh.
it's hard to put down, but it actually gets me tired because it
Sure.
separates me mentally and spiritually from the things that would keep me awake.
Yep. That's super good.
Yep.
Actually, even in that sermon, he was talking about watching TV is
Mm.
so different than social media.
Oh yeah, I couldn't
Uh,
agree more. Yeah.
like those, even though they're both screens, they
Mm-hmm.
are different. And you can, maybe I should start watching Seinfeld with sunglasses on.
Or Partner to the Night They Saved.
Yeah,
You
I
can you
do
can
turn.
watch that at night, but put sunglasses on.
Sure. Well, I do turn the Vizio. I think no. We have TLC or whatever. I turn it to like the least bright,
Great.
like almost grossly looking. Like the picture looks bad. Like I
So
have a preset for
I want
night.
to walk in on you in the place that we've neither confirmed nor denied.
Right.
See you watching a almost completely dark screen with Seinfeld on it, and you have sunglasses on, just
Well, it's
sitting by
never in
your
a
lonesome on the couch.
See, it's not in a hotel room though. That's usually either The Firm
Oh,
or
I
Night
see.
They Saved
I'm watching in a hotel.
or
I'm
Deep
watching
Impact.
whatever's on TV, which is like baby's toy stuff. But like,
Oh yeah.
I'm watching like um HGTV or
Okay.
the Food Network.
See, my hotel rule for decades has
Huh.
been I never turn the TV on in a hotel and I never touch the remote control in a hotel.
Remote control is disgusting. It's
That
like
remote
the
control,
most disgusting thing to
the
touch in the hotel.
Fremunda on that thing, like,
Okay. All right. The last thing is settle
sorry.
productively, which actually connects with this. Um, where when I am on social media or when I am thinking about work, it's hard on me mentally or spiritually. And so I've worked hard to, as much as I can with a job like mine, which kind of never ends.
Right.
It's not a 9 to 5. So I could bring my job into the late night. Often I have to because I'm on campus. But what I mean is I bring it home, bring it into sleep, wake up thinking about everything like that, right? And
Yeah,
so
totally.
the thing that we talked about in the morning routine was I think what I do, oh no, it was in the actually do your to-dos episode
Oh yeah.
where I write my to-dos out at the end of the workday. So I can just
Right.
get them there. I write my to-dos for the next day. I get them there so I don't have to worry about waking up and trying to figure out what I'm going to do.
That's so good.
For some reason, that has been like top tip for me is
Wow.
end my day of work with some sort of rhythm that is going to help me relax during the evening.
Mm,
Um, and then the last one about settled productively is because Jessica and I we work for the same organization. We have very similar, our jobs overlap. We've we've made a no work pillow talk rule.
that's incredible. Wow.
So we don't talk about work while we're in bed.
Hmm.
The bed is for other things.
Right.
And the work is the least of those things.
That that's actually in that Healthline article. I don't know if you read the one that I sent
I
you.
didn't. Uh-uh.
Okay. You
Yeah.
can read it. I'm not going to say it on the podcast.
So as much as I can, I don't look at my phone in bed and I don't talk about work in bed.
That's super good.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's the only time Aaron and I get to talk.
Yeah.
Although everybody, I've said this, we never go to bed at the same time. So, but often,
Mm-hmm.
we have actually introduced like a kind of like an afternoon, like post school, like
Mm-hmm.
just go out on the deck and just chat for half an hour.
So when we get to have a good afternoon, I think you have to
Oh,
remember that one. Like that is
okay.
an
Love it.
incredible tip.
Yeah. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. We'll
Write
get
that
there.
down somewhere. I want to talk about that more.
But I love this. I love this idea. And
Yeah.
I think the no phone in bed, if people would just try that and put
Mm-hmm.
your phone in another room and get a real alarm clock,
Yep.
huge.
Yeah. All that's huge. Um, I we have to get to what's giving us life, but
Okay.
I really want to say that I I understand that this is hard. It's particularly hard, I think, for people that have night responsibilities with their work, which both you and
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I would also say that makes an evening routine even more important
Mm,
because if that's not in place, then it's just you just never think about it. And then you're like, why did I sleep so bad? And why does my morning suck? And why am I so terrible all day?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's me at least. Like I need to stop kind of making excuses about, well, my job isn't a normal job. And sometimes I have responsibilities at night. And so I've worked hard to try to make consistent routine work for my life. And I want to encourage people that it is possible and super important to do it.
That's great, dude. And I think that's part of this healthy aging thing that we're really leaning into
Yep.
is learning how to make these rhythms of our lives serve us as opposed to us just kind of being like slaves to our really bad habits.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes.
so I think this is
Yep.
great, dude.
All right. Let's head on into what's giving us life this week.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Let's clap.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, clap,
Clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
clap.
All right, here we are in what's giving us life this week. Anthony, do you want to wait? You started before. I'll start.
Yeah, I went first. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. What's giving me the life this week is the dump. The
Mm,
dump.
I love going to the dump.
We've talked before about how much we love garbage day, right?
Yep, totally.
You just watch that guy come and just remove your trash and your crap from your house.
Totally. I love it.
It
A
feels like
dumpster is even
a
better.
shower for your house. No, I guess it feels more like going to the bathroom for your
Yeah, yeah.
house.
Yeah, your house takes a dookie.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, speaking of dump. But and then we've also talked, I think I told you that they will do like bulk trash
Yeah.
pickup in my neighborhood where you just
Yeah.
put stuff on the curb and they just like come and take it all away.
So
We're
jealous.
we're doing our biggest construction project ever in our house that
Uh-huh.
we've done, if
Oh
you
my
can believe it, everybody. But a
crazy.
lot of it is we're doing it ourselves, and so we don't have people taking stuff away for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now talked about on my Gomer's favorite things that we now have an old pickup truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, boy, oh boy, when you've got an old pickup truck and you're doing construction, you just pile all that crap in there, you drive it
Yeah.
to the dump,
Mm.
throw it onto the ground, and drive away.
Hmm.
Where have you been all my life, dump? I
Mm.
love the
That sounds
dump.
great. Yeah.
You get to stand next to other people like throwing their crap away onto a
Yeah.
giant pile. I mean,
Yep.
this is just I cannot wait to go to the dump. And when you're driving out of the dump and it's all behind you, it is a like I feel light as air. It is giving
Yeah.
me so much life, the dump.
That's great. I love it, dude.
What about
I
you?
feel
What's
so
giving you life this
similarly.
week?
Um, okay, so I listened to this podcast, The Big Picture,
Mm-hmm.
Ringer
Yep.
Network,
Yep.
and they did the 1991 uh, draft. So they all
Right.
these.
Great idea. Don't you just I'm just jealous when I hear episodes like that. I would love to
Oh,
do it.
they sound so fun. It's Chris Ryan, Sean Fennessy, and
Mm-hmm.
Amanda Dobbins. It's so fun.
Yep.
So I mean, I want to watch every single movie they talked about.
Okay.
But
Give
this
me a
one
for
movie that,
instance. Okay, good.
yeah,
We're gonna get one. Good.
yeah. So the one movie that popped, and this is what was life giving, is Defending Your Life
Uh-huh.
by Albert Brooks,
Yep.
starring Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep.
Mm-hmm.
Rip Torn is in it.
The best
It
name
just
ever. The best name in showbiz, Rip Torn.
totally. And dude, have you ever seen it?
It's on my list. I've wanted to do an Albert Brooks. Well,
Mm.
and because Blank Check did Albert Brooks,
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm like,
Oh, I want to
that
listen to
is
that.
that's a blind spot for me in the Brooks. Uh, I don't even know what you would call it.
The
His
Brooks
movies.
Cinematic Universe.
Yep, the BCU.
Okay, so just basically Albert Brooks, who is so funny and so relatable.
Yep.
I looked it up. He wrote it when he was they did this when he was 43.
Okay.
Uh,
We're
there are
older
some
than
trigger
that.
warnings. There's a car crash
Okay.
and there's a panic attack scene.
Okay.
So I kind of knew that going into it.
Wait, does Albert Brooks have that panic attack?
Yes,
Man, he loves having panic attacks. Remember in
I
Broadcast
know,
News
I
where we could
know
hardly look at the screen?
exactly. This one is way worse than that, dude.
Okay. Wow. All right.
So I wanted to let people know about that.
Yeah.
And it's performance based, which is scary for me, but it
Yeah.
was worth it. Shoot, now I just kind of downplayed or said the sucky part about
I
it.
know what you mean. Yeah. It's obviously an important part of the movie, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean basically Defending Your Life. It's not a spoiler to say he dies because it's in the trailer,
Uh-huh.
and he basically goes to court to take stock of his life,
Okay. I
and
love
it
that. Like in heaven or something?
yeah, sort of like in
Afterlife, I guess.
this space, like
Yep.
and so like I definitely don't, it's not my worldview or theologically I agree
Sure.
with it or anything like that, but it
Yeah.
is so interesting. And I actually think, dude, we are all trying to make a case that our existence is worthwhile, like
Uh-huh.
Christian or not,
Yep.
or whatever worldview you are. We're always like making a case for ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was part of the Impress episodes.
Yep. Definitely.
And so if placed before a judge,
Mm-hmm.
what are you going to say about it? And so they actually play back scenes from his life,
Wow.
and
It sounds
they
kind of It's a Wonderful Life adjacent, right? Like taking stock of your life in that way. I actually didn't know that movie was uh what kind of word am I trying to say? Like not realist, like it's high
oh,
concept like that. I thought it was just
it's
another Albert Brooks movie.
no, total high concept movie,
Okay.
and
Cool.
all about fear to love.
All right. I gotta watch
It's
this.
well worth watching. I cannot wait to talk to you about it.
Okay. I'm putting it on my list.
Sweet.
Before I do the closing, I just gotta tell you one other thing. Speaking of Blank Check, their director that they just started, John McTiernan. They're doing friggin' Die Hard,
Oh,
Predator, Partner, the Hunt for Red October is coming up.
Oh.
I mean, I flew out of my shoes when I heard they were doing that. I shot straight up into the air.
Oh. Okay. Need to get back on my blank check streak. I watched on my flight to Cleveland and back. I watched Partner to Hunt for Red
That's
October.
why I mentioned it, because you sent me a picture
Uh-huh.
of the screen in front of you. Did you fly Delta, did you?
Delta, yep. And Hunt
I
for
knew
Red
it was a
October's-
Delta screen, and it said
Yep.
Hunt for Red. It's the opening title, Hunt for Red October.
So good.
Okay. Well, everybody, we are wondering what you think about our evening routine chat. If you have other practices or routines that you do in the evening, we'd love to hear about them. There's all sorts of ways to contact us, but the best way is Instagram. That's Two Gomers. And in our bio, you can see our link tree, which is all things Gomers. You can also talk to us, call us, leave us a message, or text us on the Gomer phone. That number is
608-622-7669. That's 608 NBA Pony.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe or follow us on whatever podcast app you're listening to right now. Thank you to Davis for our music, Jason and Eric for our graphics, Adam, our webmaster, and Lindsay, our social media maestro. And thank you to our Gomertrons. They're the folks that subscribe to our second podcast, The Bonus Disc, on Patreon, not only home of our monthly movie show, Perfect Movie, where we just covered Return of the Jedi and The Godfather and Billy Madison, but extra episodes like our 2024 resolutions ep in January, Perfect Movie Perfect Movie what? Perfect Movie Robot. I kind of talked like a robot there. Not really. In February, and our upcoming March Madness, annual Disney themed March Madness. We call it Mouse Madness, and we're doing Perfect Ride. Perfect Disney World Ride coming up.
Can't wait.
In March. Up to 4 episodes per month, depending on the level at which you subscribe. All that and more is at patreon.com/2gomers. We welcome your support and we thank you.
Awesome, dude. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. I love the settle idea. Settle physically, settle mentally, spiritually, and settle productively before bed. Turn the lights off, wear some sunglasses. Love it.
Now we have Chad waiting in the waiting room right now.
Yes.
But I have a poem to read as we close. Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Every once in a while I'm reading some poetry and I'm like, ooh, that one lines up. This is from my dude, John O'Donohue. It's a blessing for the evening. Here we go. It's selections from the poem Vespers. As light departs to let the earth be one with night, silence deepens in the mind, and thoughts grow slow. After the day's frenzy, may the heart grow still, gracious in thought for all the day brought, surprises that dawn could never have dreamed. May the blessing of sleep bring refreshment and release to soften the hardened earth of the outside life, disentangle from the trapped nets the hurt and sorrow, and awaken the young soul for the new tomorrow. You know what I got to say about that? Great up.
Beautiful. Super fun, man. And remember, everybody, if we can figure out how to get better sleep and settle our minds physically, mentally, spiritually, productively, and wear cool sunglasses while we're around our family and friends, you can too.
And have a good evening.
All right, let's stop that. 1, 2, 3, stop. Save. Let me just whiz real quick, dude.
Great. Let me say.
But I'm not going to unplug my headphones.
Okay.